my favorite topics called quality management. And one of the reasons why I like this topic a lot is because it's very heavily misunderstood. This is one of those topics which is very heavily abused. This concept is abused. This people abuse the meaning of this terminology, right? All right, so the very first thing that I'm going to do is to ask you guys what is the meaning of the term quality. So I'm going to start with Mr. Bilal because he just had a very nice lunch with his son Amar. So, Bilal, please tell me what is the meaning of the term quality.
Quality, you can explain in two ways. It could be good quality or bad quality.
Okay.
There are some measurements for quality.
Yeah, see, version control is something else. But yeah, quality is a little different from what you just said. What about you, Nishant? Would you like to explain the term quality?
The measurement of something.
The measurement of goodness.
Good or bad.
Yeah, I know. I knew you would say that. Measurement of goodness, not bad. And what about Jamil? What do you mean by quality? What's your perception or understanding about quality?
While you are achieving some product, you have to maintain some standards.
Okay, not bad.
Of quality.
Okay, all right. Now you'll be surprised that all the terms that we've used for quality are actually incorrect. In fact, in one of the companies, I actually walked in and I asked them, what do you mean by quality? Now, all those guys are working in the same company, right? Nearly 25 to 28 of them, all working in the same company for years and all qualified project managers. And I simply asked them, what is the meaning of the term quality? And I asked each of those 25, 28, I'm forgetting how many people exactly, and each of them, without fail, without even an exception, each of them gave a very different meaning of the term quality. So how is it possible that all of them, when they work towards a project, they are actually doing the same thing? Because the meanings are entirely different. So it's very dangerous. Quality has a very straightforward meaning. And let me explain that term to you. As per the American Society of Quality, which was instituted in 2000. Just imagine, the American Society of Quality was instituted in the year 2000. You see, so late, right? The real meaning of quality has been there since early, 50s. When just after the World War, the TQM, Total Quality Management, was instituted by Deming in Japan, right? But let's look at this definition. It says the degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements, right? Trust me, I'm not very big fan of this definition. I like the Japanese method of definition much better because it's very easy and it's very easy to understand. The Japanese method of definition as per TQM is quality. Can you see this, guys? Let me switch on the spotlight. Quality is equal to conformity to requirements plus fitness of use. Quality is equal to conformity to requirements plus fitness of use. Right? So, what do you mean by conformity to requirements?
Conformity to requirements means the willingness of the acceptance of the product by the end user.
Oh, that's called validation, right? So that's a different thing, right? But you're very close, sir. You see, conformity to requirements simply means, Mr. Bilal, that whatever that you wrote in the requirements document, whatever that was documented as requirements should be there in the project. That's it. Whatever that you documented, or everything that you wrote in the requirements document must be there, right? That is the meaning of the term conformity to requirements, which means if any one of the requirements have not been met, I might reject your project. Because your project does not conform to requirements, I might reject it. Now the second part is called fitness of use, which means that even if you meet all the requirements have been met, everything is fine, except they are not fit to use. Even then the quality would not be met. right? So quality is not only that you conform to the requirements, all the requirements must be present, they should also be fit to use. So my question to you, Bilal, is what do you understand by the term fitness to use? What does this term mean?
Fitness to use it. It's necessary for the project, or it's something belongs to the project, or
All
it's
right.
suitable for the project.
Not bad, not bad. You're almost there. You're almost there. So let's take a very simple example. I needed a door to be made for my room. Like I'm sitting in a very small office. This is only meant for trainings. So I'm sitting in my office, and I wanted my main door, which is the way to enter my office, that has to be made of absolute glass, right? And it has to be made in such a fashion that it has got handles from both sides. There should be some way for it to lock, and it should automatically close. Like anytime anybody enters or exits from my office, the door should close automatically. So these are the requirements that I've given to you, right? Now, Bilal, if you were the person who were fixing my door, and instead of glass door, you actually made it into what you call polyplex door, something like a door made of plastic instead of glass, right? Right? You know, those plastic ones, like thick plastic, polyplexen, and you made it out of that. And I wanted glass, right? So is it conformity to requirements, yes or no?
No.
Absolutely not, right? So I will actually reject it. I will say, take it away, Mr. Bilal. I don't want this. I'm not going to pay you for this. I clearly told you I want it in glass. So when you violate conformity to requirements, your project is liable for rejection. And that's what happens in validate scope. If they don't see the requirements present, they'll just reject it. It says, I can't accept this. And they reject it. So you have to raise a change request and do this whole thing all over again. It's a very costly affair. So conformity to requirements is a very, very important thing. If you don't meet it, non-conformance is very dangerous. But let me give you another example. Let's say, Mr. Bilal, you made that door for me, right? It is made of glass. It has got the handles which I asked you to put in. It has a locking mechanism. And yes, it closes on its own. Every time somebody opens it, it closes completely on its own. So all the requirements have been met. But there is one issue. Every time I open the door, it makes a very sharp, very irritating sound, screeching sound. Right? Every time I open the door, something like that, it will make a very irritating sound, right? Now, what is that? Is that a problem with requirements, or is it a problem with fitness of use?
Fitness of use.
Exactly. See, now at this point of time, I am not going to tell Mr. Bilal that, hey, take it back. I don't want it. No, I will not do that. I'll simply request Mr. Bilal to fix the noise. That's all. Quality is conformity to requirements plus fitness of use both. But between conformity to requirements and fitness of use, what is more dangerous is non-conformity to requirements. Because non-conformity will always result in rejection. Whereas fitness of use will never result in rejection, but people will give you time to fix it. So between the two, you should be even more concerned about conformity to requirements. Is this part absolutely clear? How practical quality is. You can apply it for construction, you can apply it for service industry, for IT industry, for telecom, for anything on the planet. This version of quality applies to everything. Is this clear to everybody?
Yeah.
Nishant, absolutely clear?
Yes.
Right? This is how much people misunderstand quality.